Elvis, Young versus Old. From the Memphis, the City Magazine Archives, July 1, 2007, an article by Frank Murtaugh and Preston Lauderback. It's the sneer. The ducktail was cool, the voice silky, and the hips, the pelvis, lit their share of fires. But it was that sneer that told us a young Elvis Presley knew he was cool, silky, and yes, lighting fires. John Lennon famously said, "Before Elvis, there was nothing." Judging by the piercing, feedback-inducing screams that fill the soundtrack of every public appearance, Elvis made between 1954, his debut at the Overton Park Shell, and 1958, when he was inducted into the Army, what he delivered was indeed as original as anything American pop culture has seen. Was there pop culture before Elvis? The songs were necessary tools for a rising king, and they remain classics. That's All Right, Mama, and Mystery Train at Sun Studio, Hound Dog and Jailhouse Rock at RCA. The man induced fainting spells with merely a transitional hum in Don't Be Cruel. No one could croon, they said, like Sinatra. Well, listen to Love Me Tender, still the greatest love song ever recorded. The strength of a giant, remember, is measured by how gentle he can be. Pre-Army Elvis was the perfect post-war American icon. Gals wanted to be with him, guys wanted to be him. He was a country boy who took New York and the rigid Ed Sullivan by storm. He loved his mama, stayed home, buying Graceland in 1957, and when his country called him to duty, off came the ducktail. Looking back, it would be hard to invent such a star. Elvis aged quickly, and it started the day he enlisted. He lost his mother, found Hollywood, and lost an artistic battle with Beatlemania he couldn't win. But those images of a youth who changed the world would not fade, and never will. Those images burned, and they still do, in any reflection of who, no, what Elvis Presley was. "I'm here," he said, "forever," and he said so with a sneer. Frank Murtaugh. Lord Almighty, I feel my temperature rising, because your kisses fill me higher, like the sweet song of a choir, and you light my morning sky with your burning love, belted Elvis Presley in 1972. Gone was the mama's boy, who nervously gyrated his way through innumerable bubblegum hits. Also in the rear view, his contemplative artist who rather unconvincingly lamented his way through life in the ghetto. Only a man assured of his uncontested status as king of rock and roll could sing Burning Love the way Elvis did in 72. It's like a baptism by fire, cleansing the king of decades of Hollywood schlock. Elvis wrote virtually none of his songs, but to hear him here, burning, 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 and nothing can cool me, I just might turn to smoke. But I feel fine, is to hear a grown man in total mastery of his art. He owns that song. The King reclaimed his music career with the '68 comeback Suspicious Minds, released in 1969. Introduced a mature adult King, done with playthings like teddy bears and hound dogs. Burning Love is the King at his greatest, though pouncing like a lion on his prey, bouncing around the song like the Muhammad Ali of the microphone. We all know where His Highness went from there. It's a tale of grand excess, a private doctor with a horse tranquilizer hookup, a dozen chocolate ice cream sundaes for breakfast, or whatever you call the first meal of the day when it's served at 2 p.m., increasingly bejeweled jumpsuits, in an expanding wasteland. When we think about late Elvis, it's easy to focus on the sad, bloated creature who ascended his throne for the final time on August 6, 1977. But in 1972, no one knew his fate. And riding around in your Dodge Charger in August with the windows down and Elvis's new one blaring, it must have felt like he'd reigned forever. How hot was he? Well, let him answer that one himself. Lord have mercy, I'm burning the hole where I lay. by Preston Murdoch. This article was completed by Frank Bertall and Preston Lauderbeck. To have easy access to all the great articles and to keep up to date with all that's happening now, plus access to years of archive material, subscribe to our free weekly email, and you will always be among the first to be in the know. You will also receive our popular 5 Things to Do in Memphis this weekend. It's easy to do. Click the link in the description below this video. Did I mention it's free?